Oh. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to these YouTube streets. This is your home girl. Uh, Barbosa. 914, Westchester County, New York, coming to you with another live video, another stream yards, another link is dropped. It's dropped in the chat area and it's dropped on my community wall. Shout out to the chat. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Or should I say, buenos dias, que lo que mi gente, ven aquí conmigo. Or should I say, habari za hasaburi, karibu ni umbani. Should I say that? Should I say, twendi zetu? Should I say, kuja na mimi? Should I say, ni fuate? Ni fuate. Ni fuate means in Swahili, follow me. Should I say that? Shout out to the chat. I just speak plain English so everyone can understand. So everyone can understand. Good morning. We got 2 in the building. We definitely got 2 in the building. This is not going to be a long live. This is not going to be a long live. Now, everyone knows what kind of job I work, right? Everyone knows what kind of money is flowing in and out of my house. Everyone knows that. And I was listening to something Sis had said when he was live yesterday. See, I don't play the whole video right then and right there. I might do the replay and fast forward, slow down, go back, because I don't do reaction videos. But he said something that interests me very much. And he said that, well, he asked the question, why people don't open up their own businesses. That sounds like a good idea, right? If you're a minority, you can get federal grants to open up your business. But what kind of business would it be? How much money would you accumulate within a week, within a month, within a year, within 3 years before you start having to pay taxes on that business? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. And the only thing I could think of is opening a bodega. Because I remember when I was in New York, how well the bodegas did. And they didn't do well by selling food or snacks or Pampers or body wipes or nothing like that. They didn't sell real good in those areas. But they sold very well if they sold cigarettes, tobacco products, alcohol, beverages. There's a store right across the street from me, and I don't mean no harm, but I do mean some harm. I don't never see a food truck coming to that store. And the only trucks that I do see are the trucks that deliver the sodas, and the trucks that deliver the beers, the wines, the wine coolers. That's the only thing I see. That same store was supposed to have opened up a liquor store right next to it. The liquor store never transpired and never got off the ground. But I seen what they did to the store in downtown Charleston, not too far from the Food Line, not too far from Hampton Park. Not only do they have a bodega in there, but they also sell wines and spirits. Shout out to the chat. So you make more money destroying people than you do anything else. Some people say, well, a restaurant is a good idea, a laundromat is a good idea. Yeah, right. But who wants to deal with the going ons about a restaurant? If you ever worked as a dishwasher, you know how much that restaurant is going to make by the end of that day. You already know how much they're going to make, especially if they open up early in the morning. Those that get up early, they make the most money. They get up early, they stay late, they close late. Shout out to the chat. I remember when I was living in New York, my sister, I have one sister in particular that loves to hustle money. She loves to hustle. And I remember one particular year she bought a box of Newport cigarettes. Now you would think she was making a lot of money by selling the cigarettes for $4 a pack back then. I'm talking about something that happened in 2005, which she did. But she said she didn't sell them many cigarettes as packs. She sold more selling loosies, selling loose cigarettes. It was 50 cents during the day, but at nighttime, it was $1. Now, this was back in 2005, so shout out to the chat. Good morning, Just Jay. Good morning, Just Jay. I love the way you say my name. And the way you type it is the way you say it. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming in this morning to moderate. But what do you think, Just Jay? If you was to go into a business for yourself, what would it be? Ask yourself that question. Would you make more money working for yourself or working for someone else? In the Nation of Islam, they keep saying, go for self, go for self, go for self. But they don't tell the pitfalls and this and that. But I forget, I neglect to remember that when they used to tell people to go for themselves, they used to hold classes during the week teaching their people how to go for self. Shout out to the chat. You ever heard that concept? Go for self, do for self, become self-sufficient, rise above the occasion, take control over your destiny, take control. Shout out to the chat. It sounds like a good idea. But a lot of us are not financially educated. A lot of us are not financially educated. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. I feel sorry for the day if I ever find a bag full of money. I feel sorry for the day if I ever find a bag full of $100 bills. And I'm just imagining it right now in my head. What if I find a bag filled with money, $100 bills, $50 bills, $20 bills, $10 bills, $5 bills? Oh, oh, would I invest the money? Would I take the money and open up different bank accounts and get credit cards and debit cards? Lord have mercy. I could see me now. God. I would have to find a bunch of friends to hang with so I don't kill myself with the money. I could see me now buying things I don't fucking need. And now that Birdman not here, oh, I would definitely. I could see me now. I could see me now. I used to want a restaurant. Then I realized a food truck might be better. Okay, Just Jay. Now that I'm on O/O on operator, and even though I have to pay for everything, I much rather work for myself. Don't let me find a bag of money or win the lottery. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's forget about opening the business right now. Let's talk about finding money. I ain't talking about $20. I'm not talking about $50. I'm not talking about $100 bill. I'm not even talking about a few stacks of hundreds. I'm talking about a bag full of fucking money. A book bag is suffice it enough for me. Don't let me find a book bag filled up with fucking money. I would definitely have to find where all my moderators live, go to where they are at, and we'll be having parties. How long do you think that money would last? Wouldn't last long, would it? Shout out to the chat. I'm just saying it's a concept in my mind. Because when he said something about people need to work for themselves, they need to open up businesses, you can get federal grants from the government in order to do this, X, Y, and Z. And I thought about it, I said, now let's be honest, because I don't want a laundromat. That's not a cash cow. It's not a cash cow. A barbershop is not a cash cow. I can't even say owning an apartment building is a cash cow. I can't really say that because people come and go. People can decide not to pay the rent. People can decide they don't feel like paying the utilities, and then here we go. Here we go. Shout out to the chat. And then there is a thing with maintenance. If you own an apartment building, there is a thing with maintenance. You would have to pay a maintenance team to come in. They would be under you, under your umbrella, wearing your shirts, your slacks, your steel toe boots that you buy for them. And you would have to have custodians and you would have to have maintenance people. You would have to have people that's knowledgeable about how to overturn the apartments when people move out and when people move in. What to do about moving trucks, what to do about supplies for the building, how to pay the taxes on the building, how to pay the mortgage on the building. So there's a lot going into running a business. You know what I mean? And since I'm not a Nation of Islam member, I don't attend their classes. I don't even go to their temples. I don't go to their mosques. I don't do none of that because I'm not a member. But let's say I was. Would I be afforded to go and attend the economic and financial sound classes? Shout out to the chat. It's just a thought. See, I'm sitting here by myself thinking about these things, but when I was in New York, we used to actually have ciphers where we would get together with family and friends and we would talk about these things. Everyone would be in a circle and a blunt would be passed, cigarettes would be passed, a couple of cans of beers would be passed around. Shout out to the chat. Or you would be sitting in the kitchen at a kitchen table because that's where a lot of meetings happen. In the kitchen, not so much in the living room, not in the dining room, in the kitchen where there's a lot going on. Shout out to the chat. I'm not going to tell you all the businesses I wanted to go into. Arabia, if you buy a car, you can do Uber, DoorDash, and work for yourself. Just Jay, did you hear me in the last couple of videos where I said I don't even have a driver's license and I refuse to drive? When Birdman was living, Birdman was trying to teach me how to drive. I was not interested. I've had a driver's permit in the past, but as soon as that expired, I said, fuck all that driving shit, because back then I was still taking public transportation. But I understand what you're saying. I understand. I understand. Shout out to you. I don't need it. All right, Birdman number 2. Just Jay, now you sound like Birdman. You know, Birdman had a faulty license. His license was suspended, but every time I looked up, this man was buying a car. This man was accumulating cars left after right. The man had 2 cars when we was living up there on Decatur Street, right here in North Charleston. And this was around the time I had discovered watching Miss 504 on the YouTubes and Lonnie and a few other people on the YouTubes when Birdman had these cars and his license was suspended. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, Birdman was something, man. I wish you could have met him. I wish you could have met him. He was really, really something. That man, and I'm going to tell you something, Just Jay. I'm glad you brought up the fact about not having a license. Birdman used to own a car detailing company. So that's all he did. He would clean uh the outside of the car, the inside of the car. There were certain chemicals he would use that you could buy out of Family Dollar. And I would watch him do these things. Like he would, like, if he come to my house and he would go right across the street where his cousin was at, he would get up there and start cleaning inside the cousin car. I mean, all the cars Birdman had, I mean, they were spotless. He kept his cars clean. But I also remember the gas prices. I also remember the maintenance for the car. I also remember buying new tires for the car. Yeah, I remember all that. Shout out to the chat. Yo, just Jay, check this out. Just between me and you, and there's someone else in the chat, but they're not typing in. Or maybe that's you. That's both of your accounts. Okay, shout out to you. Thank you for coming in and thank you for hitting the like button. Just Jay, listen. My biological mother, right? She lives in Goose Creek, South Carolina. Okay. She inherited the house and the car her boyfriend left her because he was a Vietnam vet. He was a Marine. Last name Textora. Anyway, he also was a Cape Verdean. But a long story short, he was with my mother for a good 17 years. And when he did his will, he left everything to her. And one of the things he left to her was that car he used to drive around in, which was a maroon colored Cadillac. I forget which year it was, but she doesn't drive. She doesn't own a license, but she rents out the car. The car gets rented out every week. I forget how much she rents out the car for, but whatever it is, it's enough. I would say to pay the water bill or to pay a light bill every now and then. Shout out to the chat. So whoever rents the car from my mother that week, they have to pay a certain amount of money. And if they keep the car for a month, they have to do the upkeep. They have to put the gas in. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Because when my mother was younger, my mother used to be a booster. And I don't know if you know what that is. A booster basically is someone that goes into certain establishments and they steal a lot of merchandise. And the merchandise that they steal or they accumulate, they come onto the street and they sell it. I used to rent out my Jeep on Tira, but people don't take care of your car the way you do. I stopped doing it. Yeah, that's right, Just Jay. But my mother keeps doing it. Now, the last time I looked, the car was, whoever was driving it, the car was on the east side of downtown Charleston. Because I remember walking past the car. Because I went live that particular morning or afternoon. I forget what I went downtown for. But I remember there was one person in the chat, shout out to the chat. And they was like, oh, Ray, X, Y, and Z. I said, pay attention to this street. And then I looked and then I seen the car. I said, damn, the car be everywhere. Shout out to the chat. My biological mother, she comes to North Charleston ever so often. Matter of fact, we ran into each other, I would say it was last year. And we don't like each other. We can't stand each other. We can't. We can't. Anyway, she was at some nursing home place, I guess visiting the residents there because they have a lot of Buddhist chant members everywhere. And I was walking past and I noticed it was her on the porch. And I stopped and I looked and she looked at me. And I went home. I remember I went home that afternoon. And I remember Sister T going live. And I just remember just being in Sister T chat. I don't remember nothing else from that day. That's it. Shout out to Sister T. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Miss V? What's up, Wrath? Yeah, shout out to everyone that just came in. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is not going to be a long live, but I just came up here real quick because I heard Sis say some things in his video. Now, he was talking about FBA and the tethers and X, Y. I wasn't really interested in that. I was interested in what he was saying about opening your own business. And if you're a minority, you can get a business grant, certain loans you can get, you qualify for certain things. But it's just a point of what kind of business would it be? Where would the business be located at? Would I have to buy the building out front or would I have to rent the building? And a lot of these buildings you would have to renovate to make the business what you want the business to be. Shout out to the chat, if that makes sense. And the only thing I could think of, like if I was to open up anything, it would be a bodega. It would be a bodega. I'm a New Yorker. I would want a New York style, a New York flavor going on for my business. I would open up a bodega. That's what I would do. You know, they accumulate a certain amount of money within a week, depending on how many sales you make. Shout out to the chat. So we got 3 in the building. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. That's what I was thinking about. What he said. Because I keep hearing people say that over and over and over again. But the people that say it the most are the people that were not born here. Their parents weren't born here and their grandparents weren't born here. But I find it very interesting that foreigners can come into the country and get what's really supposed to belong to us. Shout out to the chat, if that makes any sense. Because I remember living in New York where all the corner stores were being run by people who was from the Middle East or people that was from the Dominican Republic or people that was from Mexico or people that was Cuban, you know what I mean? And then we started seeing a lot of Koreans moving into the neighborhood, opening up businesses. Shout out to the chat. Okay, Mrs. V said she would open up a coffee truck. Shout out to you, Mrs. V. You have mentioned that before. You mentioned that before. Damn, Miss V, you got a good idea. You got a darn good idea. It's just too bad I don't know nobody that could actually get a hold of that truck. I know who the truck belongs to, but I don't know how to get. I would have to find out the number to that place and call the people. But then I would have to get the truck renovated and all that. And it wouldn't necessarily be a food truck because, you know, X, Y, and Z. Like, if I was to have a food truck, I would want to sell sandwiches, like deli sandwiches. You know what I mean? So that means you would have to get a cooler installed in the truck and all this other stuff. Shout out to the chat. It's a lot to running a business, whether it be a truck or on a bicycle. Yeah, man. Yeah, Raph. Yeah. I'm thinking because he said something, and I've heard it said before, but what he didn't, I think he did say it too. He said a lot of people who are not from this country seem to find an easier time opening a business in certain neighborhoods. Like the neighborhood I live in, like if I was to open up a bodega, I would be competing against the store across the street, the store up the street. I would be competing against all those stores that's not too far from here. And then I would be competing with the Family Dollars in this area. It's two Family Dollars in this area. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. But it would be a bodega. Because I see that what the man is doing across the street. I'm going to tell y'all something. If you buy a can of salmons in his store, I'm just saying, a can of salmon, doesn't matter what size it is, he's charging you almost $6 for that can. If you go into this store and buy a loaf of bread, he's charging you $3 for a loaf of bread. If you go into his store and buy a package of bacon, that bacon is going to run you $7.58 after tax. Shout out to the chat. I only got one question for you. Who are you? Who are you? Because I don't know you. You might be in the back chat. You might want to leave. Or you could just stay in the chat. Because if I don't know you, you're not coming on my stage. That's one of the rules I got for this channel. No, I don't mean no harm, but I don't allow people up on my stage I don't really know. I got to know you, or the people in my chat got to know you. Somebody got to vouch for you. Somebody got to speak up for you. Even then, I got to watch you. Let me go to this channel. Hold on. Show on stage. Yo, somebody go to that channel and see who's behind that account. With one of my moderators, go to that channel, see that channel's account activity, go to that channel and see what kind of channel that is. And if it's a troll account, strike them. Get them out of here. Thank you. Yeah, I don't play with people over here. So I'm asking whatever moderators in there to the channel is highlighted in the chat. Find out what kind of account that is, who channel that belongs to, and if it's a troll account, get them out of here. Kick them out. It looks legit. I don't know this person. They don't even sit in the chat long enough, but they want to automatically hit the link. Just Jay, aka Purple Heart Podcast. We've had some issues with people hitting the link before, and I don't know who they are, and something terrible always happens. Okay, but what I'm saying to you, sir or ma'am, I don't know you. Just chill out. Thank you for coming. I don't know. I gotta check out your channel. I gotta check out your channel. I would like to know who you are. Just Jay said you that particular account was created in 2022. I was here on the YouTube streets during 2022, and I don't remember ever seeing you. I don't know if you from another sector or what. I don't know. Okay. Well, if they want to, they for right now they can stay in the chat. I gotta check out. Matter of fact, let me write down or let me screenshot this channel because I've never seen it before. So it's suspect. I trust my moderators, but I've been duped before. Let's see who this person is. Uh okay, I'll have to check out that channel later. If they seem to be alright, I'll address them later. Shout out to them. Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check them out myself, Rad, because I remember one time this happened a while ago. Uh, the Empress Lonnie One Love had came to my channel. She had hit the link, and then she had dropped down, and then there was someone else in the chat, and they kept saying they would answer the answer. I'm not familiar with who these other people are, but she said that she was, but she didn't know that wasn't who that person said they was. And I had an instances last night about someone using someone else's channel to come over here, and I'm not playing no games. This is not 2022. This is not 2023. This is 2026. And I'm kind of hyped to the game. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, I see that. Just Jay. But anyway, let's go on with what we was talking about. So Sis was talking about opening a business. Sis mentioned some things that I thought was interesting. I heard Farmer Nancy say some things over the weekend that pertain to the same subject. Shout out to the chat. And that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing I had to say. That was my question for today. Like, if you was to open a business, what kind of business would it be? How would you go to operate in the business? Just Jay just gave a couple of good examples about doing Lyft or renting out cars. But she also gave not only the pros to that, but she gave the cons to that. She gave the good and the bad side to doing certain things. So I appreciate Just Jay coming in and giving her input. Shout out to you, Just Jay. Shout out to Mrs. V. She said something about a food truck, which is a good idea. It's a very good idea, Mrs. V. So, these things can be looked at. Shout out to the chat. Well, I'm glad that people just subbed up to this new person that come in my chat. Matter of fact, everyone that's a content creator, if you're in my chat, drop your link in the chat. Go to your channel, copy and paste, drop your links into the comment section of this video. That's why I try to get all my content creators that come in here. If you're in the chat and you're a content creator, and I know you, drop your links. And if you're not a content, but my thing is, if you post, if you do short videos, if you go live, if you do uploads, you are a content creator. Drop your links in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, Raz. Because Mrs. V mentioned that a few months ago about the coffee truck. Yeah, that sounds like a very good idea. It would make a lot of money. It would make a lot of money. Yo, Raz, I don't mean no. He said Starbucks. He said Starbucks is doing the same thing. And I bet Starbucks is making a lot of money because their coffees are not $1.50. When you go into a Starbucks, depending on what kind of coffee you're getting, your coffee is going to be $3.45 before tax. After tax, you might be looking at paying $4.06. Shout out to the chat. So Starbucks is a very high priced place. It's a high priced business. I can't remember them ever selling coffee for $1. I can't ever remember them doing that. I can remember going into a bodega buying a cup of coffee for 50 cents. And I'm talking about while I was living in New York the last time, from 2005 all the way to 2014. That's all I was paying was 50 cents for a small cup of coffee. To get a larger cup of coffee, that would be like $1 right there, off the rip, whether I put sugar, cream in it or not. Shout out to the chat. At some places, when you buy a cup of coffee from them, let's say you buy $1 cup, and let's say you want a refill on the coffee, that's 50 cents. Yeah. So shout out to the chat. Yeah. Yo, tell that dude to hit my link again. Whoever he is. If Just Jay subbed up to him just now, I want him to hit my link. Maybe he'll have some good ideas. I don't know. Or Just Jay, you could hit the link. Or Raph can hit the link. Anyone can hit the link. Is the link dropped? Invite guests. Copied. Let's try this again. StreamYards. Uh-oh. Yeah, so the link been dropped again. So shout out to the chat. So the link is in the chat. The link is pinned. Anyone that wants to come up can. You know what I mean? But if I'm unfamiliar, because I get like that. But if Just Jay just checked them out and say, okay, boom. If Miss V just checked them out and say, okay, boom, and Raph say it, then I'm good to go. But you know, it is what it is. We had an instance last night, and I don't feel like going through that again. We had a good conversation last night because last night I was talking about what was going on the YouTubes and on social media where there's a lot of talk about FBA and Tedders. And Letitia Third Eye had hit the link, and me and her had a beautiful conversation. We had a great time. Shout out to Letitia Third Eye. Yo, go over there and sub up to Letitia. Yo, she goes live. She be dropping the link. She got StreamYards. Shout out to Letitia Third Eye. Yeah. Shout out to everyone that's in my chat. Everyone that's in my chat has a channel. Everyone that's in my chat should be dropping their links right now. Drop your link in the chat. Oh, okay. All right, Rad. Yeah, I went live last night, Rad. Yeah, I want to remember what time. I went live before 9 o'clock that evening because while Letitia was on the link, my alarm had went off and it was letting me know it was 9 o'clock at night. And I think I ended the live not too long after that. Because it was getting late and I know I had started the live, I would say I can't even remember what time I started that particular live, but I did. Shout out to the chat. Just Jay, you always, Just Jay. I'm not messing with you, Just Jay, because when you should be sleeping, you be wide awake. Just Jay, be all over these YouTube streets. She be hitting all the panels, promoting her channel. Yeah, man. Just Jay, you know you a mess. You know you are. But I appreciate you though. Can anyone start dropping everybody's link in the chat? Can one of my moderators start dropping the different content creators links in the chat? Because now that I'm on StreamYards, like when people see it, like let's say people come into the chat, they can actually see who the content creators are, and if they want to sub up, they'll be able to sub up. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, that's right, Raz. That's what been going on in these YouTube streets between FBA and Tether. And what people, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it alone. What people seem to forget is that during the times of the civil rights movement in this country, it's been black people in this country and black people from other places who have come in and tried to assist with these movements, with these different things going on. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, shout out to the chat. And they helped formulate and gave strength to a lot of organizations that are still in existence today. Still very much in existence today. And to be honestly speaking, I don't remember ever hearing any speeches coming from Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid Muhammad questioning anybody's lineage. And when they asked you to join the Nation of Islam, they wanted you. They didn't care about who your grandparents were. They didn't care about who your parents were. They just cared about you. And they said, all are welcome. All are welcome. Now, when I mean all are welcome, I mean only black people, Latino people, people that are non-white. Shout out to the chat. Same thing with Marcus Garvey. When he came, he didn't come over here and say, I wonder how many Caribbeans or I wonder how many African Americans are going to join me. No, he said, everyone. If you want to be a part of the Pan-African movement, at that particular time, Marcus Garvey he invited everyone. Shout out to the chat. See, when it comes to certain policies and politics, people don't need to worry about people lineage, who grandma was Native American, who great grandparent came from Africa, because mine's do. My great grandfather, he comes from Africa. He comes from the Cape Verdean Islands. Shout out to him. Rest in peace. Papa Barbosa, great grandfather Barbosa. Shout out to him. My father, he was an FBA. He served in World War II. And he wasn't, I would say he wasn't husband material. He wasn't father material. He didn't have a certain intellect for any of that. That's why he did the things he did. So, But I don't remember, any of the Black Panthers saying, hey, I wonder who's a Tether and who's FBA, because we need them to join this Black Panther Party. We need you to join the Black Liberation Party. We're worried about your lineage. They didn't worry about that. All were welcome. As long as you wanted to help the community, as long as you wanted to help the people in your community and help the race. That's what they were about. Not this new generation. This new generation or whatever they got going on, I don't know what it is, but I feel that it is a nightmare. I feel that it's a nightmare getting ready to happen. We already got enough divisions. We don't need more divisions. Shout out to the chat. You know, when I was living in New York and I had met my biological father, and one of the things he wanted to talk to me was about how he felt growing up in New York and people getting it twisted about his lineage and calling him. Uh, they were saying that my father wasn't fully black. In other words, there were some people that were concerned about my father's lineage when they shouldn't have been concerned. And that fucked with him. Not only did he have a terrible childhood, but now as he's growing up, as he's establishing who he was, and I don't give a fuck what nobody said, I think that contributed to a lot of his health problems. And when he would talk about it, he would have tears in his eyes and he'd be crying to me, a grown man in pain. I think he had me about 27 years. So I met him when I was 30. That meant the man was 57 when I met him. And then a few years down the line, 6 years down the line, he's gone. And I get very upset when I hear this division that's going on in our community. It's been going on long enough. That's the way I feel. And I get fiery when I think about it. Shout out to the chat. Unfortunately, I used to be right over with them debating and arguing about lineages and paperwork, etc. In 2026, everyone mixed up. Yup. Good morning, DJ Cleveland. I hope you're going to act right today, DJ Cleveland. I got my eye on you. All right. Let's go on. Yeah, but yeah, Rat, that's what happened. Cause I remember my father talking to me, and there was one particular day, Rat, I'm gonna tell you what my father did. We was sitting outside, we was talking and laughing, and I was like, well, you know, X, Y, and Z. He said, Arabia, I want you to do one thing. He said, I want you to go in the house and find you a brown paper bag. So I went in the house. I found a little small brown paper bag. I brought it outside. He said, sit it on top of the table. I sat on top of the table. He said, what we're going to do, we're going to match our skin tones with this paper bag. And then I'm going to tell you the end results. So I put my arm up. He put his arm up. The paper bag was much lighter than us. And he said, this is what keeps us out of certain groups. This is what keeps us out of certain clubs. This skin color, hair texture, lineage. So what was the best thing for me to do? Is try to understand what was going on. Because I heard it said before, but when he demonstrated what be going on in the Black community, it really like I understood it because I grew up listening to a bunch of tonteria. Because I remember going to school and people, you know how they do like jokes on people, and the first thing they would talk about is the thickness of my lips. Well, the better to kiss someone with. Shout out to the chat. The better to eat my food with. The better to drink my coffee with. Because I don't have a problem with my lips, but some people do. Like some people got an issue with me speaking a little Spanish, and a little Swahili. I only know very little Spanish and Swahili. I'm very fluent in English, but sometimes I like to mix all three languages. There's a lot of people on this app that can't stand that. They hate it. They think I'm being bougie. I'm not being bougie. I'm being me. And I'm trying to keep myself from being locked in a box somewhere because I don't want to be ignorant like a lot of them. Shout out to the chat. I remember one time I was in Sister T chat, right? And she had said something and everybody started laughing. I typed the words Nini Kuzimu Kila Wakati and it had laugh emojis behind it. She didn't get offended. She read it and she kept going. You know what I mean? She didn't tell me, Arabia, I need you to translate that for me. Shout out to Sister T. People say a lot of things about her, but not true. If I go in Miss 504 chat and if I write Swahili words or Spanish, she don't say, well, what is that? Can you translate? She don't say nothing. She just keep going. Hi, Arabia, how you doing? Because they know how I do. If I'm in Moonlight chat, Moonlight don't have a problem. If I'm in Brown Skin Lady chat, Brown Skin Lady don't have a problem. If I'm in Slim chat, Slim don't have a problem. If I'm in Bishop chat, Bishop be trying to learn. Pick and choose, aka Slim try to learn what I be saying. Vince the Sniper tries to learn what I be saying. Because they want to know what I know. And I don't know that much. But what I do have, I try to share. Shout out to the chat. No. We got the best kisses in the whole wide world. You know, when I do the short videos, right? And I see myself on camera, I be falling in love with me. Bruh, let me tell you something. I'll put on a video where it's just nothing but me, and I'll put on Melba Moore. I'm falling in love. I'm in love. That's right. I'm in love with Arabia Mimosa. I'm in love with me. I look at my eyes. I say, ooh, nice eyes. I look at my skin. I ain't got no smileys. I ain't got no scraped up skin. My skin ain't all fucked up. My skin is smooth. Shout out to the chat. I look at my hair. I grow my hair out. I get waves. I get a 360 crown. Shout out to the chat. So I'm very satisfied with me, but there's a lot of people that don't like it. I remember one time I was in Lonnie One Love chat, right? And I had hit the link and I had cammed up, right? I was on camera. And Lonnie said, oh, and she didn't say nothing. She was like, before she had put me on the stage, she said, you can uncam if you want to. And I was still cammed up. And, and Russell Red, he came down. Why you so worried about me, Russell Red? All these punk ass niggas, these yags over. See, now they're getting me ready to get started in on them, and they're not even here to defend themselves. See, when I talk about people, I like for them to be able to defend themselves. So I'm not going to talk about them. I'm not going to give them no fucking shine. Only thing I know, they're a bunch of Quamites. They're a bunch of drop shot, no name or brand, drag nasty, cunt rag, douchebag bitches with dicks. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, that's right, Wrath. You gotta love yourself before you can love anyone else. Shout out to the chat. Well, I guess that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. For those that are not here, they can catch the replay. I'm very surprised that none of my moderators dropped the links to their channels and their content creators. Drop your link, Mrs. V. You got a good channel. Put your link in the chat. Purple Heart Podcast. Put your link in the chat. Just Jay. Put your link in the chat. Wrath. Put your link in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Because when I'm in Vince chat, Vince the Sniper chat, I mostly drop his link. But if he asks me to drop another content creator's link, I'm dropping the links. I'm putting the links in the chat. If Just Jay go live and she say, well, baby, I need you to drop such and such a link in the chat so people can sub up to that channel, I'll go ahead and drop the links. I don't understand why people can't do that. I used to be over there watching KB too. Just bored with all that you. Yeah, I can't stand KB. I don't like that man. I never trusted him. Now, when he first came onto the YouTubes, he was talking all good and, people was, floating over there to him. I was listening to him for a little bit. And then one day he got into verbal combat with two YouTube creators that I truly enjoyed and respected. And after that, they just started exposing him and showing his buffoonery and all the tonteria, and people didn't listen. That's how all them people got caught up. And then all the people that got caught up with the KB bullshit realized most of them got doxxed. Most of those people over there that he fell out with got doxxed. Because he got different people working for him. He got doxers working for him. He got people that hacks, got computer hackers over there, yeah. He got sex offenders over there. He got child abusers over there. Yeah, these people not being called out. Some of the YouTube creators are calling out some of the people that rock out with KB. Trying to warn people, don't be caught up there in the cult life. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, do you remember when he went up against Hassan Campbell? KB had the nerve to go up against Hassan Campbell. KB had the nerve to go up against Tommy Sotomayor. Then as time went on, KB turned on some of the people that were supporting him. That's why the rabbits are the rabbits today. That's why there are certain groups on the YouTubes, and most of them came from KB, Tonteria, bullshit sector. And people keep calling this the bus life sector. Let me tell you something. Soda Nation was here way before any of these groups. And we shall arise again. We shall rise again. We will resurrect and we will rock this place. All Soda Nation members, if you can hear the sound of my voice, we need to rock this fucking place. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. One of my YouTube creators came out with a song a couple of years ago. Clean up the YouTube streets. That's right. I might share it on my community wall. Because ever since KB got here, the YouTube streets got dirty. Ray, you are something serious. Ray, you are something serious. And Sim said, y'all just shoot from the hip. Y'all be like, yeah, this is this and this is what happened. And I remember. That's what I like. I like when y'all come in and y'all be like, yeah, I remember. I remember when this happened. I remember when that happened. I remember. See, you don't have a fishbowl memory. Some people on this app in the sector got fishbowl memories. Shout out to Brown Skin Lady for making up that term. And shout out to Queen Regina for saying, let me tell my story, tamper down, and I yield to the floor. Shout out to that. Shout out to Queen Regina. The ultimate showgirl, Checkmate, aka Checkmate. Shout out to her. Shout out to Moonlight. Shout out to Soulfly. Shout out to Miss 504. Shout out to Sister T. Because we all see what KB did to Sister T, how he turned on Sister T because Sister T decided to take up for herself. She wasn't going to let KB run her channel. That particular day, she had Gilbert Arenas on the link. He tried to disturb the link. He tried to tell her what to do, and she said, no, you're not telling me what to do. And right after that, that's when he didn't want to be her friend no more. Shout out to the chat. I'm going to tell you something. If you got Sister T on your side, you got a friend. I'm here to testify to that. If you got Sister T on your side, you got a friend. Sister T will ride down with you. She will hang out with you. She will be there. She'll be there. If you got a friend like Moonlight, you got a friend. If you got a friend like Vince the Sniper, you got a friend. I'm just giving a couple of examples. People say, I'm going to support who I want to support, and I don't care who likes it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Just J, that's right. He's a KB is a millionaire. He's a clout chaser, a doxer, a deadbeat father, a dweeb, a creep, a weirdo. I remember one time me and him got into it. I forget which channel that was on. I bet Sis remember. Sis got all the videos. I'm gonna tell you something about Sis. If you want a certain type of video and you say, Sis, psst, 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 Sis, you got that on video? Sis will tell you, I got it on video. Or he'll tell you, I missed that one. I don't have it, but I know who got it. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. If you got certain YouTube creators riding with you, let's say that the whole world is beating up on you, and you got people that are willing to, like, hey, y'all, that ain't right. Come on, man. You got something there. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. I remember certain situations popped up, right? And some people just say, I ain't gonna pay Arabia no attention. And then in the end, you find out that they did pay the girls some attention. They did listen to what I said. And some people took offense. I'm not here to offend. I'm just here to give my point of view, to tell my thoughts, and give my opinions. I'm on my channel, so I'm not hurting nobody. I don't have to go to nobody else's channel, hit nobody else's link, and be like, hey, X, Y, and Z, unless I really want to. Because basically, when you go up there and you hit people's panel, you're there to support the channel holder. You're there to support the host. You follow the guidelines of what the video is about. You follow that, you have less problems. Shout out to the chat. But then there are some people that will hit the link just to argue with other folks. They would rather hit a link to argue with somebody that they don't fucking know, and in real life, they don't open their mouth when something happens. Someone make me understand. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, but what I'm getting ready to do, I'm getting ready to close out this video. I'm sorry I didn't let that young man hit the link. I don't know him, but I'll check out his channel. I'll check out because I wrote down. Well, I got the screenshot, so I'll check out this person's channel and see what they talking about. Because if I don't know you, I gotta be suspect. I gotta have discernment. Because when I didn't have discernment, and that's one of the reasons why I had to stop drinking as heavy I was drinking because what it was going, I'm gonna tell you what was going on. What was going on, it was too much free reign for other people to gaslight and manipulate me. It was too much free reign. They felt free. They felt that if we just keep Arabia in the chamber of this gun, when our enemies come, we'll have Arabia ready. We'll have the German Shepherd ready. That's no longer the case today, and a lot of people don't like it. You know how many people are upset with me because certain things have stopped or certain things have changed? You'll find out who's really with you when you make certain changes. And the changes have nothing to do with them. It doesn't reflect them. It doesn't make them eat. It doesn't put no money in their bank account. It doesn't do anything for them. But they get mad at you for making certain changes because they can no longer gaslight you or manipulate you or try to use you the way they want to. You're no longer the bullet in the gun. You're no longer the dog on the chain that's sitting in the backyard. You're no longer that. They can't control your narrative anymore. Now they got an issue with you. Now they got a problem with you. Now you're the enemy. Now you're concerned. Now you're the situation. Now you're someone that they need to vanquish. That's what happens when you make certain changes. And the changes have nothing to do with certain changes I made. I had to make very quickly because it was affecting my health. It was affecting my health. And I couldn't have that. Couldn't have that. Shout out to the chat. So shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my moderators. Shout out to my support team. Shout out to some of my YouTube creators. I will try to get to everyone's channel to visit what they're talking about. But I can't get to everyone. So that is what the replay is there for. Shout out to those that catch the replay on my video. Shout out to you. Like and share the video. All right, peace out, everyone. We out of here. In the words of Amy Winehouse, you went back to her, and I'm going where? Back to black. Shout out to Amy Winehouse. Rest in peace, baby girl. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. Good morning to y'all. Y'all have an awesome day. Peace. One. Read what that dude wrote in my back chat. See, that's why I don't let motherfuckers like that up. Yo, that's a fucking secret hater. That's a fucking secret hater. He got mad at me because I wouldn't let him on my fucking link. Let me tell you something. Now, if I don't fucking know you, you ain't coming up here. Fucking loser, piece of shit, motherfucker. Fuck you. And fuck the people that ride with you, too. Word. Yo, I just read what the fuck he wrote in the back chat. Son of a bitch. Hey, what's up, Carlos? Carlos Franken, shout out to you. Yeah, I knew that was a secret hater. I knew that was a secret. And you know why people get mad? Because you don't want to let them hit your fucking link. If you got your own fucking channel, you shouldn't have to beg nobody to hit their fucking link. Especially if you don't fucking know them. Next time, hit the Cash App, nigga. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.